In continuation with my X-Men movie reviews leading up to Logan, now we get to the Wolverine. Now, the Wolverine is the second attempt at a standalone Wolverine movie after X-Men Origins Wolverine. I thought X-Men Origins Wolverine was terrible. Not only was it the worst of the X-Men movies to me by far, but it's one of the worst superhero movies ever made, and its only saving grace was Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So at least with the Wolverine, there's really nowhere to go but up. And luckily this movie went way up. I loved this movie. I thought it was just what the character needed in order to have his own standalone movie. The Wolverine is about an emotionally broken Logan. After the events of X-Men The Last Stand, he's gone on his own, living a life of guilt and misery. While he's going through this, a woman named Yukio offers to bring him to Japan to meet a dying man whom he once saved from the bombing of Nagasaki. That man says he can take away Logan's healing powers so that he can live a normal life and die happily at a ripe old age. Somehow this sort of thing happens without Logan knowing, and he has to overcome his guilt from the previous movies in order to protect what I think is the man's daughter. This is Hugh Jackman's best performance as Wolverine yet. We'll see how Logan fares out, which looks like it could top his performance, but in the Wolverine, he's just a broken man. It's heartbreaking to see him at the beginning of this movie. We see that he's in pain, but not physical pain, but more like emotional pain, since he has this immortality. Many people he's loved and cared for have died. He's also physically incredible as Wolverine. He's so ripped and just superhero-y. He really looks like what you would think the Wolverine would look like in a physical matter, and this is probably because that Hugh Jackman has said that in this movie he had the most time to physically prepare for the role, hence why we see that he's just enormous. The action is also very much improved. It is still sort of shaky cam, but it's the kind of shaky cam where it's not nauseating to look at and you don't know what's going on, because you can clearly tell what's going on in these fight scenes. It just adds a little bit more intensity. The movie also takes more chances as to how much blood you can show in a PG-13 movie. And there are some scenes where I even question how this movie got a PG-13 rating. We might want to prepare for the closet hallway scene from The Shining when it comes to Logan. I also like that Wolverine was made more mortal in this movie. In the previous movies, the intensity and the worryingness didn't come from if Logan would die, but rather if the people he was protecting would die. In this movie, we still do get the worry that he might not be able to save the people he's protecting, but it adds a level of urgency when he himself could be killed. This movie, for the most part, feels a lot different than the other X-Men movies. We still do see some mutants in this movie, but overall, the universe feels different. It might be because this movie takes place in Japan, which is a very unconventional superhero movie location, but it still works. It's pretty unique to see a superhero movie take place in Japan. My only issue is that around the end of the movie, it sort of goes from a complete shift from being pretty grounded and realistic to going complete sci-fi weirdness. Not even the good kind of science fiction weirdness, the kind that makes you go, what? Even at that, I still think The Wolverine is a great movie. It truly shows the struggles of the lead character, Wolverine, while giving us some really great and surprisingly comprehensible action. And so for that reason, I'm giving The Wolverine a 9 out of 10. I know it's a short review, but there really isn't much I can say about this movie that hasn't already been said. Stay tuned because my next review is for my absolute favorite out of all the X-Men movies. X-Men Days of Future Past. What'd you think of the Wolverine? Let me know down in the comments below. Give this video a like, share the video so we can get the channel circulated, and if you want to see more, click this.